Welcome to If This Bar Could Talk, a podcast about bartenders and the stories they have to tell, as well as the storied history of cocktails, spirits, and bars. I'm Blair Beavers, and here's your host, Leanne Sims.
Welcome, listeners, both of you. Just kidding. So I'm super excited about our podcast tonight because she is an amazing woman. She's an icon really here in Columbus. I've seen her everywhere. I don't even know how she has the time to come and talk to us, but I'm grateful that she has found the time. I've seen her in magazines, a big spread in 614 magazine. I've seen her
Recently.
Yeah, I've seen her in videos, and she's just all over the place. And I'm going to call her Madam President from now on, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But Madam President Christina Basham, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. So you are a independent consultant.
Yes.
You put together drink programs for bars.
I do.
You are the brand ambassador for Middle West Spirits.
I'm actually a sales manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was the brand ambassador for about 2 years. So I've been in sales technically for about the last year.
And you just created a new business called Bubbles and Agave.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
And then finally, you are the newly elected president of the United States Bartenders Guild Columbus chapter.
That's true.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. Is that something that you aspired to for a long time?
The USBG was something that was really intimidating to me at first. So I think when I joined the guild summer of 15, I felt really out of my league and really quickly realized that I was where I was supposed to be. I joined the board about 4 months after that. They asked me to come on board because I was so nerdy and I was at every education event. And they're like, hey, we really need like a director of education. We want to create this new position because we just don't have the time to focus on it. It seems like that'd be something that you'd be interested in. I said, absolutely. So at the time, Annie Williams-Pierce was the secretary. So she actually is the one who pitched it to me. And so I wrote like a proposal and they said, great, sounds like you're mostly organized and mostly passionate. So so I joined the board November of 15 and then, stayed in that role for a year after that. And then when kind of the elections came about, I was really torn because I was really excited and I wanted to do good and I wanted to actually have a little bit of power to be able to flex my muscles. But to be honest, at the time, I thought to run for a president or VP position, you had to have 2 years on the board, which was wrong. So I ran for secretary and got that. And in hindsight, the universe knows better than I do. So I'm actually really thankful for the 2 years as secretary because I think that I got to understand how the board works a lot better, both our strengths and our weaknesses. And it helped me really create a really clear path to what I thought we needed to do to be better and be better for our members and be able to give back and all these things that I really wanted to, these paths of change I wanted to create. I knew that now I feel like I'm where I belong, whereas I think I would have felt a little bit not ready.
So, Madam President, I saw you're going to be heading to a charity, USBG National Charity Function. Tell me about that.
Yeah, incredible. So the USBG National Charity Foundation, I cannot tell you when it was created, but I can tell you that when I applied for what they call the Patron Hacienda trip or the immersion trip. So once you're a member of the USBG, there are a lot of educational opportunities, and a lot of them have to do with travel. A lot of them are brand sponsored, and for me, they're so invaluable. And I've been really lucky to be able to participate in a few of them. So February of 17. In the fall of 16, I applied and I got put on the trip. And it was actually the first Patron trip that was paired with the charity foundation. So before, they used to send people down, illegally take you into their agave fields, walk you through their distillery, and send you home and hope that you sold more Patron. But this one, we actually worked in a
Orphanage?
food bank.
Oh, food bank.
They basically paired us with a food bank in Mexico, and we got to work with them, and then we got to physically pass out the goods that we had like kind of boxed up and organized to people. It was actually really incredible. Seeing there was a woman who was like 85 and had walked 2.5 hours to come get the goods that we had prepared for them, and
That's amazing.
yeah, it was
That's
it was
really
awesome.
cool
It was like
that they-
I get
that they
emotional
put
thinking
that
about it
all
now.
together.
Yeah, because you want to do good, and you want to use what you do, your craft for good. But growing up really poor, and not that poor, but it's really cool to see brands spending money, because the Lord knows the big ones have plenty of it,
Sure.
for good.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of it is like highlighting their brand and building loyalty, but it was pretty amazing. So that was the first that I'd really heard of the National Charity Foundation. So it's paired with USBG, but it's like a secondary or kind of alignment with them. So I applied for a trip to Amsterdam, and they just kind of asked, it was like 4 or 5 essay questions, like, what do you do in your community? Why is philanthropy and charity important to you? And I applied, and somehow I got in. So
You do
Awesome.
other stuff, philanthropic stuff within the community, don't you? Aren't you part of like?
I feel like I do.
Yeah. Well, I know you help us out a lot. You and your fiance Jennifer
For sure.
always help us with our Pelotonia
Always.
fundraiser, which we're
We love that.
so grateful for.
We love that. That's
Absolutely.
easy. That's easy and so much fun. I'd actually been really one of my platforms in my new position with the Guild was that I have been desperately begging to create partners, like charity partners with the Guild, and do at least quarterly hands-on volunteer activities. It was just something with our chapter, with our not lack of leadership, but it's a small volunteer board. Everybody's really busy. It was something we talked about every meeting and never happened. And that was something that's just really important to me. So I'm a core ambassador, which is a national organization. It stands for the Children of Restaurant Employees. And I haven't gotten to do anything hands-on yet, but the idea is if in your region they decide to or are able to support an ask, it's kind of like a mini Make-A-Wish. So sometimes they can help out financially or with visits or whatever. So I haven't been able to physically do anything yet, but which means that there's no one close to us, which is a need, which that's also the best. But
It's so great that you do that. We're very
It's great that exists
yeah,
too.
yeah.
right, because most people in the industry don't have insurance. It's a huge issue.
Right.
So this is a way to help, if something does happen. And not to say there aren't people in need. I'm sure there are. They just don't know that it exists. So if you're out there and you've had an unfortunate situation happen, contact them.
Most bartenders don't have health insurance. It's not offered by the bars.
I would say if you work for a larger company, it's a little more likely. But I would say on average, the majority of bartenders do not have health insurance.
Oh, that's a shame.
And, there are options to buy in, and there are, all these, but it's so expensive. And I will say that as a young bartender, I didn't think it was necessary. And also when you're surrounded by everyone else and they don't have insurance either, and you're just like, I'm young, I'll figure it out. Nothing's
Right.
going to happen to me. I had a huge scare. Wasn't a scare. It happened, but I got really lucky when Scott Hafler, who owned Wall Street Nightclub for like the last 9 of the 10 years it was open, when he brought me on to manage for him, that was 2008. So I was 26, maybe 27, and didn't have insurance. And one of his requirements for being a manager was that he paid half of your health insurance and you paid the other half. And you couldn't take the position and not have insurance. And it was just such forward thinking. And I remember being like, but I want that $160 for something else, What an idiot. Such a small, especially I think back to those days, I was making so much money, but you spend it as quickly. The amount of money I made and spent in my life makes me nauseous. So ridiculous. But I started working for him in August of that year. And in December, I was rushed to the hospital from a bar shift on a Friday night because I had basically passed out behind the bar. And I had this ongoing like health thing from when I was young. And I had doctors tell me that I had an ulcer, and they would like strip my diet down to nothing, and then I would like not really get better, but get better. And then of course, not having insurance, I would have these like episodes, which I found out later I was passing gallstones.
Oh, geez.
Like once a year, basically. And I would be just out of it for like 12 hours. Like the pain, it feels like an elephant is standing right here. That's the only way I can describe it. Is the most like dull and also intense pain you could ever imagine. So I'd been dealing with this for years and years. And like when I had like been at Ohio State and gone to the, the whatever the clinic would be, and they're just like, no, I don't know. They're not really like paying attention to me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's just me, whatever. So, anyway, I get to the hospital and they're like, something's really wrong. They do, what is ever the word for if you're pregnant, you get a ultrasound. Yes, thank you. And they're like, yeah, you have lifestyle choices paired with like, I guess I had a bile deficiency in my gallbladder. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the hospital for 5 days. I was on saline for 4 of the first 4 days.
Wow.
Couldn't eat, couldn't drink, couldn't even have water. And then they did, there was a first kind of more procedure, and then a secondary surgery. I had a laparoscopy. So, I was in the hospital 5 days, and at the end of it, I had a $65,000 medical bill.
Oh, wow.
$65,000, and I had a $200 or $2,000 bill.
That's awesome.
That I was responsible for. But like, if Scott had, can you imagine?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have been like, bankruptcy, hello,
Right.
let's start over. By my mid-30s, I'll be,
And I know a lot of bartenders end up having plantar fasciitis from standing on their feet so much, but I would think that would be covered by workers' comp. Is there any type of education within the USBG that informs bartenders
We're working
about
on
their
a lot.
rights?
We've had, a few years ago during like education focus, we actually did a Thai yoga massage class with Charles Gibson, who's amazing. And it was, I wanted to do that specifically for a few reasons. I love Charles. He's just seems to really get it. I also felt like he didn't judge, like when I was having the initial conversation with him, I didn't feel like I was being judged for my like lack of taking care of myself, He really just wanted to connect with people and to like share his passion for this. And also it made us, we worked in pairs. It made us touch each other. It created an intimacy that I think, you work in restaurants and there's a lot of like physical closeness, but like it lacks a lot of intimacy sometimes. It can be really superficial, especially when you have to be on for your guest. Mm-hmm. So it kind of forced this like touching that I think made people really uncomfortable at first. But I think we all left at the end and felt like super refreshed, and I don't know, you kind of felt like a little bit more vulnerable in a great way, and I don't know, it was really awesome. So every week during USBG National does an education week, an initiative. It's like the second week of October every year. We try to do something related to health and wellness, but it is part of something that we're going to try to do more often. Last year for Education Week, we did a financial wellness seminar, Aperol brunch and Benny's. And yeah, I think the physical wellness is something that we need to focus on, especially like when I was at Tails last year, they're doing kind of more health related stuff and stretching exercises. And at regional conferences, there's usually a seminar or two on how to take better care of your body while you're behind the stick.
That's good to know. That's so important. So you're also, I don't remember the term, but you're an ambassador to the city of Columbus?
Oh, I'm a CTA.
Okay. Tell us about
that.
Which stands for?
Certified Tourism Ambassador.
Okay.
So it's it's actually an international network through Experience Columbus. And I don't know, I just get to, I think it's all walks of life kind of go in and take a class and take a little test. And Jennifer made fun of me because they send you this big binder and I had tabs on like every 3 pages because it's a ton of like history and landmark related things. And I'm like, oh, if I'm going to take a test, I've got to. And then it was like 25 questions and, I'm like, that was a lot of, I spent 12 hours studying that book. Okay. Because it's not anything you can't access. But yeah, ultimately, the goal of CTAs is to enrich the cloth of the city and the fabric of the city, and help Columbus kind of just, I don't know, be better and educate people who may not know about the city.
And so you have a lapel pin.
I have a little gold star lapel pin.
So Blair and I talked about this, and we were thinking, since we do the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour, that one of us should do that. And my fear is that I am like the worst at directions. I could get lost in a paper bag. So I was like, if I'm wearing one of these pins,
she's great at history, but wouldn't know how to tell people to get.
If I'm wearing a pin and somebody asks me how to get somewhere, I would like send them in the wrong direction.
You just tell them to get Google Maps or Waze.
Okay, maybe I'll do that.
If they don't have like a GPS on their phone, then I don't know. I mean, you probably shouldn't be talking to them anyway.
Be some little old lady, and I'd send her like to the wrong area of
Be like, in that general direction is where it is. Let's Google the address together. It's kind of a pretty cool thing. And the idea is that like, if I know I'm traveling to another city, I can kind of reach out to that network, because we all have like an online login, and you kind of record points. So for everything that you do that has like relevancy, you get points, and then you just kind of keeps you current, if you will. So for me, it's easy because of my job and my lifestyle. Like, I'm constantly touching people, places, and things that they want you to. There are a lot of people who are like retired or semi-retired who do it just to kind of stay involved, and I think that's really cool. Middle West, we're actually putting together a package to do like discounted tours and like discounted service bar tickets and stuff like that to like encourage them. I think we're going to try to do some like quarterly CTA happy hours or something.
Cool. So you were a bartender for a long time. You worked in the industry, and then you went to work for Middle West Spirits. What's it like working for a small distillery?
Well, never having had worked for a larger distillery, my path was threefold with Middle West. So I started off as their brand ambassador, which was I was the kind of GM and bar creative at Polly G's in the Short North at the time. And I had been kind of doing cocktail development for them. Josh would kind of, I was, when I was managing the kitchen, doing their event sales and their beverage director, I was like staging cocktails with their bottles. And God love Facebook, because this day on, and I'm like, that is the worst picture. That cocktail looks terrible. What was I doing? Those are maraschino cherries, Christina. But I was like staging cocktails and like so excited. And, I think there weren't a ton of people doing that on social media at the time. Mm-hmm. And somehow I met Josh when he was Josh Daly, my boss, director of sales, and kind of the glue that holds Middle West together. He had called on our account, and we got along really well. And I said, oh my gosh, I just love OYO, and these are all the cool things I do with it. And so he would like say, hey, we're doing like an event at Franklin Park Conservatory. Would you like to, can you write a recipe for us? And we'll put your name on it. Like, we'll put like the cocktail and your name on it. And I'm like, that is like the coolest thing at the time. And still now, clearly. And so started doing that. And then, Molly Meyer moved into a sales position, and she's no longer with us. She's actually the event manager at Strongwater. But she just needed like cocktail development assistance. I think that we were kind of gaining traction, and it just wasn't something she was super comfortable with. And I think they kind of wanted a secondary person, but not somebody they had to pay a legitimate salary to, which is smart. And so they kind of said, hey, would you, and I know that there were a couple other people who were kind of in the running. And at first they were like, we'd love you to do it, but you're a little bit too busy. And I said, I will make time. So I basically told them that they couldn't tell me no. And so started off as that, and then did that for like about a year and a half. And when they hired the beverage director at Service Bar, I wasn't really needed anymore because they kind of had that person. And then just a few months after that, I left the management position I was in and helped open up Service Bar behind the bar, kind of doing like bar supervisor, did a lot of admin, helped set up a lot of their infrastructure for the bar.
And Service Bar is the name of the restaurant.
That's our distillery restaurant. Yeah. So did that for 5 or 6 months, and I think I was kind of itching. I loved that, but I think I was already kind of at the point where I wanted to do something else. and Molly decided to change direction. And I remember thinking, I have to show them that I can be a salesperson, because I'm not a salesperson.
Really?
No, I don't. It grosses me out.
What?
This is how I look at what I do. I look at what I do. Like, I clearly have a passion for this brand, good, bad, or ugly. And we joke all the time that, like, you guys, like, I've been with you 3 years. You're never, ever going to be rid of me, even if I quit tomorrow, because, like, my name and that brand are so synonymous over the last 3 years. So I feel like I use the portfolio as a vessel to kind of educate people, and to kind of, like, show local pride and to encourage people to put money back into their local economy. And so for me, it has, like, lots of other legs. But
it's still sales. It's just not the swarmy sales.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
It's still sales, though.
But I don't love the ask. Yeah. I'm not someone who, like, Julia, my counterpart, she is self-identified. Like, she is a junkyard dog. She loves the chase. She loves that. Like, that is not the thing that gets me excited at all. Like, building a legitimate relationship and partnership with someone and really feeling like I can add value to what they're doing. I can teach them to fish. I can give them a better understanding of what they're doing if I can. And there are lots of places that know more than me, but those don't typically end up being the places that we have a relationship, they feature our spirit, they love it, and that's wonderful. But there are a lot of, like, maybe neighborhood bars or, bars that wouldn't consider themselves craft that I hope over the last year I've helped to kind of elevate a bit or make them maybe a little more relevant. And, like, whether it's their cocktail builds or the way that they price their cocktails even, I think there's just, like, there are a lot of bar managers who aren't really equipped, who've never really had proper training. So they get kind of thrown into situations because they have great personality and they're willing to work, but, like, they're never really trained to, like, what that really looks like to be efficient and organized, and, like, this is how you inventory and this is how you would cost a cocktail and, like, that kind of stuff. So
you help them with the whole thing,
it typically falls into a much larger,
Now, is that just something you do, or is that a part of the job?
It's a part of the job for me.
Okay.
I just don't feel comfortable, like, saying, hey, do you like our vodka? Awesome. High five. See you later. Also, like, when I think about, like, the way my personal commission is structured versus the way somebody from maybe RNDC or Southern, a broker or a distributor, versus me being on supplier side, where essentially I'm a specialist. I have 12 SKUs. That's all I talk about. Unless I'm writing a menu for you and you need a tequila or a rum, and then I can tell you what you should probably do for your margins and what you can afford to do. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's so much more to, like, so many larger conversations that you can have with people, and the way that maybe an RDC is paid is they're paid on, like, an individual placement. So if they walk in and say, I'd like you to buy this bottle of vodka for me, and if they get 10 people to buy that bottle of vodka, then they get a bonus. And then they have maybe 20 programs that look like that. Well, I go in and say, please buy this bottle of vodka. Well, I probably make 45 cents on that bottle of vodka. So unless it has programming and education and all these other things tied to that bottle of vodka, it's a 45 cent, plus in my bank account that, like, you're kind of cussing me out under your breath, because you're like, why the hell did I bring this vodka in here? You're, like, dusting it in 6 months. Like, this sucks, Like, I don't ever want to be I don't want our brand to, like, have that connection with it. Like, I'm going to support you. I want to help. If you like it, I'm like, let's figure it out together. Let's put our heads together. But otherwise, like, I always say, like, don't do me the favor. Like, I don't need a 45 cent favor.
That's really smart. And I've noticed that, like, I'll see... you'll post something, like the other day, I think it was Vim and Pedal cocktail at Little Palace, was it?
Oh, I had two Vim cocktails.
So I wondered about that, if that was something that you put together so that they would know how to use your product. Which
they
is
actually
super
have had that on the menu.
Oh, really?
It came before me. It's been on the menu the entire time. It's one of their best sellers. It's delicious. It's really, it's like $8, so it's really affordable. So yeah, my budget and my liver do not have the ability to drink and buy all the cocktails that were featured in. I really try to get around and see everyone and know that, like, I'm thankful for their support and try to get them a little social buzz. You know, I'm not like an influencer or anything, but who knows? I don't know. People might see it and stop in, and that's kind of the goal. And also, I really love taking cocktail pictures.
But it does seem like it's more about the relationship than just the sale.
Oh, totally.
So
1,000%.
That's why it's different.
Yeah.
And you don't consider yourself a salesperson.
Yeah.
You don't like that part of it, but it's still sales.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of approaching your job.
Yeah.
Well, she knows she's a salesperson. She just doesn't necessarily like sales.
The connotation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what my business card says, but yeah, I think that, you know, there are a couple of us in the city who have like a legitimate cocktail background. And I mean, you know, a couple of us. But I think reps, you know, the idea of what a rep is like not something people generally love. Like for Education Week for USBG, I set up a round table. And I had, you know, sales reps from different, like there was a wine rep and a beer rep and a couple spirit reps. And it was kind of set up for everybody to talk about, like, how can we make better use of each other's time? How can we respect each other's time? What do you really need from me as a buyer? What do you really need from me as a rep? Because I just don't think there's enough transparency. And people are just, I don't know whether they're unwilling to talk about it or they're just too busy or they're really just used to interacting with like a rep who walks in and says, here's my book, as I throw peanuts all over the table. You know, I think that's what a lot of people think of as a rep who comes in, who doesn't, you know, who sets up an appointment with you, doesn't show up on time. And I mean, I was that rep in the beginning because I'd stacked my appointments so close and I wouldn't think about like trying to find parking in downtown. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to be late. So sorry. I stretch them out more. I give myself breathing room now. But yeah, it's like just like the rep who constantly asks for a favor, wants to try you on this new spirit that they have in their portfolio during happy hour. Now, I got really lucky. I never worked somewhere that was like really high volume, so I never had to have uncomfortable conversations about like pay-to-play semantics and deals, and like nobody came to me to wheel and deal because like I wasn't going to sell enough of their stuff for them to matter. But I think that like because I was really passionate about cocktails and I was really I feel like I had a well-balanced menu of like local and larger brands that were representative of the people that I had relationships with. And I always really tried to highlight the spirit and also show love to everyone that I could, that I had relationships with. You know, that's where that came from. That's where my friendships came from. And I think it made it easier to transition because I went to them and said, I went to Andemic and I went to Alex Bocchino and Joe Rossman and, you know, Tammy King and Nicole Hollerman and said, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? How do I do this? And then, you know, 3 months in, here are my challenges, you know, help me not be so sensitive to this, or help me, you know, organize my time a little better, or, you know, so I really leaned on them when I switched over so that I could kind of just get a better grasp of what the heck I was doing.
That's good that you had that support system.
Absolutely.
So at this point in the program, we usually stop and make a cocktail, but I thought we would do something a little different.
Okay.
And I know your company's name is Bubbles and Agave because you love bubbles and you love agave.
I do.
So I just happen to have a
Stop.
bottle of bubbles and a bottle
Get
of
outta here.
agave. So we're going to take a break and we will open up our tequila and our bubbles.
I love it.
And we are back with a glass of champagne, which is Nicholas something or another. I don't know how to say that. It's a French champagne. It is a demi-sec rosé. And we have one of my all-time favorites, Casamigos Reposado, such a delicious tequila. So grab whatever you want and let's cheers real quick.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
That's really tasty.
Not bad, huh?
No.
Okay, now for the tequila. This is like the best thing ever, tequila and You really know what you're talking
I mean, cheers again. Oh,
Sorry.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And I didn't think they would, but they go really well together.
So I don't know if you know the background of like how this happened.
I want to know.
It's not super fancy, but so my birthday is December 29th, which is like a very challenging time of year to have your birthday. And I always fight with myself about like, do I want to do something exciting, or do I want to like, everyone is tired from the holiday and probably preparing for New Year's. And then of course being a bartender for almost my entire adult life. Like I was probably working on my birthday or had worked a lot of days before and after. So we were out and about 2 or 3 years ago, and I wasn't scheduled to work. I think it was earlier in the week, maybe. I don't quite remember. But I always get kind of like paralysis by analysis when I would go out because, it's me and my brain looking at a back bar going, oh, so many combinations of delicious things. And I just didn't know what I wanted to drink. And I'd get into a conversation with someone, and 15 minutes later, the bartender, who's probably my friend, is like, Christina, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, sorry. There's probably had been a Fernet exchanged already at some point naturally. But, and a friend of mine, Shoshana, goes, you really like sparkling wine and you like tequila. Like, why don't you just like drink bubbles and agave? And I was like, bubbles and agave, that's it, all night. That's all I'm drinking. Mm-hmm. Well, it made my life much easier. Yeah. Especially if I went in somewhere that didn't have sparkling wine, because I'm just like, I'll just take a club soda, because we were like bar hopping that night. And I was like, I had like many waves of like, when I was younger, I drank like vodka, and then I had a little like clear rum thing, and Jameson. I never need to ingest another drop of Jameson in my life. And then a not to be named, mid-level bourbon that I drank copious amounts of, and then moved over to rye. So I kind of had gone through like this. They've gone through this path of like all the different styles of spirit, and
that was my Tuesday.
After Tuesday. I tend to be like, I'm going to stick with this for a couple of years. That's kind of what I did. And I didn't usually introduce something else. Maybe if it was like in shot form, but generally speaking, not as a cocktail or whatever. I think at the end of the day, I always really liked, like I was a beer and a shot drinker. Like that's what I just preferred to drink. I'll have a nice cocktail, but also like if I'm 3 or 4 hours into my night, I'm not going to waste money on buying a nice cocktail because I'm not going to appreciate it. I don't want you to waste your time on making it for me because my palate's done. It's about the process here.
Right.
So that's kind of how the whole bubbles and agave thing started. And I liked the way it made me feel, which sounds silly, but I think like as I got older, dark spirits got a little tricky for me. Like it wasn't something I felt like I could drink all evening. So then I'd feel like I'd be drinking dark spirit, and then at some point I was going to have to change gears, which means taking spirits out completely. I don't know. Just, it didn't get jerky, but it just got. And I also would be like have an upset stomach the next day after drinking like bourbon all night or rye all night. I'm like, this sucks. And so then with this, like I remember waking up the next day being like, I should be really hungover because I had a lot of that last night. But like, I feel kind of okay. And
tequila never makes me hungover. Now, bubbles will. The bubbles get in my head sometimes. But tequila, I think it's because it is from the agave plant and it's nutritious. That's what I'm going with.
Absolutely. Might as well be antioxidants in there. For me, it's like drinking white wine. So the irony of this is really funny. But like, I think that like white wine is something I like to think I can drink a lot of without being affected. I don't think that's true. But I'm like, oh, sure, another glass of Sauvignon Blanc. Sure, why not?
Low proof.
No problem.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like basically water, right? It's not. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it, and it never left me. I just kept. Not that I love Amaros, and I still drink like rye a fair amount, like here and there. But if this is my go-to. Like when I walk in Mouton, they will hand me a glass of bubbles without asking.
I like your style.
Thank you.
So tell me about the company, though. You teach people how to create cocktails. You'll do it in their home, at their place of business, just wherever they choose. Is that?
Yeah, that's part of it. So when I was at the kitchen is like a participatory dining space. So it's not really a cooking class. It's kind of a situation where you come in and they take all the hassle out of the things that you don't like when you cook. They kind of like pre-measure the ingredients, and basically it's a little chopping, it's a little sauteing. And the whole point is they want you to engage with each other. They think that like you make memories around food and around like cooking together. And so I was like, oh, we could totally do this with cocktails, because there was always like a gap in time where they would finish cooking. You have like teams who are all dedicated to a single course. And so there was always a salad course or a soup, something that was quite easy. And people would kind of be like, what do we do now? And so we started doing cocktail courses. And it was the idea of, I'd have a cocktail or 2 different cocktails, and I'd have the ingredients out, and I'd have shaking tins and stirring glasses, and they'd come over, and it would be like maybe 3 at a time. And I'd be like, who's had a Negroni before? And like, it's always a challenging one, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what is this pink drink? I'm like, no. That's not what it tastes like. So yeah, I would teach them how to use a jigger. I would say like, these are the tools. These are what your tools are called. Like, if you have a home bar, it was like a great open conversation about like, and I really got to look into people's lives and like how a lot of people felt really clueless, and a lot of the information online was not digestible, and I don't know. So it was something I always liked to do, and I'd done it a handful of times, and it's like somewhat lucrative, and for me it doesn't feel like work, because I feel like I'm kind of throwing a party and I'm getting to educate, and so
Gotta be better than awkward silence too.
Right. So when I was trying to make my company a little extra cash, because I loved Anna Jen, so it kind of just combined all the side hustles. I really wanted them under an umbrella. I wanted something, I really like structure. I like to bend the rules, don't get me wrong, but I like to start with structure and then figure out how I can make that not a reality sometimes. But so yeah, it's called Master of Manhattan. It's essentially come in, it's, small groups, like 12 or less usually. And I kind of try to chat with people beforehand about...
Okay, wait, let me make sure I understand this. So Bubbles and Agave is your umbrella company.
That's the company. And then I have some things underneath it.
Okay, so...
Master of Manhattan is it's what I would call like an at-home cocktail class.
Okay.
So it's basically a hands-on learning experience. So I chat with the host beforehand. It can be done in very, very large groups if you're more of a watch, not hands-on type person, or depending on your experience. But I just really loved what the kitchen did. So I wanted to try to recreate that, because it was really cool to see. I think as adults, we're not in as many spaces where we're learning. And I always joke booze isn't rocket science, and it's nothing to be scared of. And I think that it's really easy to overcomplicate some things. And so it was really cool to interact with these people, and they would walk away from the experience feeling like they had a little trick up their sleeve. Like, this is how you float red wine on top of a New York sour. And they're like, oh my God, I can do that at home. And I'm like, yes, it's actually quite easy. So I just loved
amazing.
that.
That's great. So we have our cocktail tour, as you know, but we get people asking us to do private educational sessions, which we do not do. So we'll definitely send those people. You're right. Actually, I think we already did. Someone recently reached out, and we were like, oh, no, you got to call.
Mm-hmm. Might be someone that I'm talking to right now.
I hope so. That would be great. No, I think that's wonderful. But I know what you mean when it doesn't feel like work. That's how we feel with the cocktail tour, because we would be in a bar anyway on a Saturday night. So we might as well take some guests and
we
make
get to
it a
show
party.
them the city, and you totally should be a CTA. It makes too much sense.
Yeah.
Minus the directions.
We're halfway there already, I think.
Yeah. So, and speaking of the Negroni, I don't know if this is just me, but the Vim and Petal gin, there's something about the botanicals, and there are many of them, as you know. There's something about the botanicals in that gin that lessens the bitterness of the Campari and makes a wonderful Negroni. Is that just me, or have you found that as well?
No, I agree. To be honest, when I first started working with Vim and Petal, I really loved it as a spirit. But when I was working with it in classic cocktails, all of our gin classics were written for London Dry. And that's cool and everything, but I don't have a London Dry in my portfolio. So I had to figure out how to manipulate classic. Yet. So we do have technically a London Dry, but it's not ours. So we created a London Dry for A&R Creative. So they have many spots all over the city. They have the Crests and the Market and a lot of other places. So if you enjoy London Dry, and it's really fun. There are like some really exciting herbs and things in there, unexpected. You can get it at their locations, and you can get it at our bottle shop too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a fun.
I'll have to look
it's
for
a fun
that then.
variant. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm pushing to do a Navy Strength London Dry. It's all I want in my life. Oh, it'd be so amazing. Like it would just be so easy.
Delicious but dangerous.
Right. Hello.
We love gin.
Bubbles and agave. Delicious
Yeah.
but dangerous.
We love gin, and but we accidentally got Navy Strength
The Plymouth.
Plymouth,
Hey, Plymouth.
and it'll knock your socks off.
Oh,
but
for
it's
sure.
delicious.
For sure. Well, especially in something like a Negroni. I mean, it's bitter, so you're just already
Well,
like your palate's already
yeah,
like
we
pumped
were-
and primed.
Straight up, martini.
Oh,
dry.
well, good Lord. Okay.
We don't play around. But it incorporates to other things that I really love, gin and vermouth. I love vermouth so much. I could drink it on its own.
Jennifer drinks vermouth on the rocks sometimes.
I love
She's
that
come
stuff.
a long way from what she drank when we
Sweet
started
and dry.
dating.
We like both.
Oh yeah. I really like the
And white.
Quintine, whatever that brand is that Cavalier has. The
My
Quintine
favorite.
Royale, I believe.
Carpano Antico for the sweet.
Sure.
Carpano
Bianco.
dry.
Uh-huh.
Bianco.
But their Bianco's
And the
good.
Bianco, yeah, it is.
They do. I mean, Carpano does a really, really good job.
Yeah.
I just had, oh man, it's not Monaco. Something else in the Cavalier portfolio actually that like kind of knocks my socks off, especially for the price point. Like, I think it's like PKS, poor kid syndrome in the back of my head. I'm always looking at price. Like everything is not just like it's not just this is the cost, but like what is the value, and which is like really annoying sometimes. But gosh, if I remember the brand, I'll find the brand for you because
yeah, please do. Love that stuff.
it's very, very good. If
So we
Nicole
used to
Holliver
be
was here,
like
she
that
could tell us.
too. We would get the economical spirit, but then I was like, why do we
Well,
do
not
that?
bad.
No,
Just
not
the
not,
economical.
Yeah,
Not Crystal Palace gin, but
no. But I was like, you know what? We should just bite the bullet and buy what we like because we drink a lot, and
It's
so
what we
should,
like.
Yeah, we should drink.
yeah, I think that I think I'm just getting to a point in my life where I feel kind of like an adult. I mean, not 100% by any means, but like at 36,
should
I'm
you.
like,
Getting there.
okay, this does not feel what 36 I thought it would feel like. But, I'm like mostly responsible. I don't live paycheck to paycheck necessarily. That has a lot to do with working all the side hustles. But I'm in a place where I can breathe a little bit. So I'm much more willing now to like, buy something. In spirit, I don't really purchase much because I have like a bar of about 150 bottles, but so much of it was from like competing or like being a buyer where you get samples or whatever. And I was never a big drinker at home. Just for me, drinking is totally social. So I may have literally a single cocktail once in a while, but it's just not my thing. So the bottles just grow and grow and grow. And I remember the first time.
Sounds like you need a party.
I do. I do. One of the first times Jennifer came over to my old apartment, she was like, so do we need to have a conversation? Like, do you have a problem? And I was like, if I had a problem, none of these bottles would be left. So I think I'm going to be okay.
Well,
I
there's
think
your
we're fine.
reception then.
Right, exactly.
You guys get married.
Right.
Just bring out those bottles.
Exactly.
And have a party.
But back to Vimpedal, the thing I think what I found is that I kind of like do step down recipes when it comes to the classics. So if it calls for an ounce, like a Negroni, I typically push it to about an ounce and a half, and then I back down the Campari and the sweet vermouth, and it's like a significantly more balanced cocktail. Same thing with like Last Words. I generally bump it up about 50% and back everything else down about a quarter.
Blair does some cocktail trickery with the Negroni. What is it that you do? You do like
What I end up doing is splitting the Campari with Aperol,
It's a nice.
and then I'll kind of top that off with Fee Brothers Orange Bitters.
Oh, okay.
So that's my third. It still ends up, being the same proportions, but I'm splitting the Campari out a little bit.
I like that. It softens it a bit, probably. Yeah.
It's pretty delicious.
I believe that.
So all of your years, in bartending, is there any story that you want to share with us tonight? Anything that sticks out to you, or anything that you would like patrons to know?
Stories.
You don't have to name names.
Sure. Oh my gosh, stories abound, especially managing a nightclub. Not a lot of grotesque though, like not. I mean, just.
Here, sister.
So one of the ones I always think about, this is terrible. I had a regular. She was a lovely human. She had been overserved. I cannot say it was that uncommon in that environment. I mean, this was 10 years ago, so even less, people were paying significantly less attention to that then than now. And she had several guy friends, and they were always in together, and they were really respectable guys. And one of them came up to my bar. I was bartending upstairs, and he said, like, she went in, and she's been in there like a half an hour. Can you please go in there and get her? Sure. So it's like probably like 1:30 in the morning. And I walk in and I check both. There's only 2 stalls. The one is clearly empty. She's clearly in the other one. I'm pretty sure she's passed out. So I like hard knock, cop knock on the door. I'm like, hey, are you in there? And she's like, yes, or something. I don't know. Zombie apocalypse. And I was like, hey, we got to get you out of here. Like, it's time to go. It was her birthday. Gosh, always like the birthdays that get you. And so she unlocks the door and I open the door, and she's standing up, and this poor girl, like, her pants are around her ankles. She's like on her period.
Aww.
Like, just, you don't want to see that much of your regular ever. And she starts walking towards me. And I'm like, no.
Stay where you are.
Stay where you are. And, so you're like literally like pulling her pants up for her. And, I think that there are a lot of stories like that. And I think that it's kind of sucks because I think we've all been there. Maybe not to that level. I know I definitely have been on her level before. And you just hope that there's somebody around who like is kind enough to take care of you.
Oh, I pull up Blair's pants all the time. It's like a constant thing.
I've seen a lot of people. I have a lot of amazing experiences,
Just
of course.
Kidding, by the way.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to tell.
Or not. I had a lot. I've developed some of the best friendships I've ever had. I've had some of the most wonderfully connective moments being behind the bar, getting to know people, getting to know their lives, offering them an escape from, it's a lot cheaper to drink at home. They come to you because maybe they want a cocktail that they don't want to make at home, or they just need to get out of the house, or, I joke that it's kind of escapism, but it's escapism. Whoop. And I definitely have met some of the best people in Columbus and all over from being behind the stick. I think if I could tell patrons anything, it would be, we're not perfect, and bartenders and people in hospitality work their ass off and don't get a lot of credit for it. And even now in the day and age of like the celebrity bartender and the celebrity chef, there's so many thankless things that people do to make a restaurant work. And, 9 times out of 10, people are there for the right reason. And just be patient. Nothing is the end of the world.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Number one rule, don't be a dick.
Yeah. I hate it when people are rude to servers and bartenders. It pisses me off so much.
I mean, it shows your character for sure.
If I ever see that, if you're near me and you're being rude, I'm going to buy a cheap glass of wine and spill it in your lap. That's what's going to happen. I just hate that. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's hard to watch even now because I wasn't used to being on this side. My nights off were Monday, Tuesday. I'd go out. I went to industry spots. I was surrounded with people who were probably industry too. And usually was being taken care of by a friend. So, that is not that different to this day. I mean, even though I have most weekends off. I mean, some weeks are nuts and I have lots of night events and things. But, I mean, I think it's just, if you've never been in the industry, you just cannot grasp like all of the working parts. I run social media for Middle West as well. And so, back when I was running Service Bar's social media, which was about a year, I'd get messages, in Service Bar's first year of inception about, things that went wrong. And some of it was totally legitimate, and I would immediately connect them to the correct person. But some of it was just like, are you freaking kidding me? And if you're not happy with your experience, say something while you're in the building. Give that space an opportunity to fix it. I think it's once you're gone. Now, if they fail at the opportunity, that's one thing. But it really everybody so I still have the dream where I wake up in the middle of the night and I forget to take ranch to table 32. I think everybody who's ever served or bartended I still have those dreams to this day. And I haven't worked at Applebee's since I was 22. Okay. So it was a long time ago, but we have those dreams because we know that we missed the mark, and we do take pride. And I think that give us the opportunity to fix it. That's what I would say. Let us fix it.
That's good advice. We were actually we were doing some R&D this weekend in Delaware, Ohio, which is amazing. It's Ann Dimmick called it the short north of the north, and it really is.
There's a lot of cool stuff happening up there.
It was amazing.
We were impressed.
But we were in this one restaurant, and this patron wrote this nasty gram on his bill. He was pissed off because they didn't fill his wine glass to the top. And they were like, okay, nobody fills their wine glass to the top.
5 or 6 ounce port. That's it. It's not a full glass of wine.
Yeah.
Literally, do you want to be able to smell anything?
I know. It's just, it doesn't even make sense. Order 2 glasses of wine at once and have them put it in one glass if that's your thing. But that's just so bizarre.
I'm not judging, but I'm judging.
Yeah. It was just the most bizarre thing. And he comes in there often complaining about the exact same thing. So it's clearly you're not going to get what you want in this restaurant,
right? Nor
any other restaurant. Just stay home and fill your wine glass up to the rim.
Or have a transparent conversation with your bartender and say, listen, I would really like 12 ounces of Cabernet. And you have a glass that will hold 12 ounces. Cool. So charge me whatever you need to, but just know that when I order a glass means blank.
Yeah.
I'd be cool. As long as you know I'm going to charge you appropriately, I'll do whatever you want. I used to joke, I don't care if somebody wants a vodka soda with a pinch of dirt in it. I will run out back and get them a pinch of dirt if that's how they want their vodka soda. I don't care what you're drinking. I just want to get it in your hands, and I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make your life more difficult, unless you're an asshole. And then maybe I'll be like, how can I? But even then, yeah, people who take pride in what they do, you don't. It's not about revenge. I remember when, oh my gosh, what was that movie called? Oh,
not Cocktail.
Waiting.
Okay.
The movie Waiting. And it was with Ryan Reynolds, and it was a satirical kind of what I would call corporate turn and burn about a restaurant, about movie, whatever. So it was Applebee's. I think it was called Shenanigans or something, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. And so they did everything, reprehensible behavior. Somebody's steak fell on the floor, and they said it wasn't done correctly, and they it was disgusting.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember people were freaked out. I talked to people and be like, do you really do that? I'm like, no.
Nobody does that.
It was a fucking movie, for crying out loud.
They were trying to make you laugh.
Right. It was supposed to be funny, but then people were just I remember us having team meetings about it. Guys, so the movie's out and people are really nervous and we need to be sensitive to them. And I'm like, it has Ryan Reynolds in it, for crying out loud. If you're taking that serious, right. Well, not yet, but.
Well, Christina Basham, this has been a real pleasure. We love you so much.
Thank you. I love you guys.
We're so grateful for you taking the time out of your super busy schedule to spend a little time
We're
with
still
Lena.
surprised you were able to.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. I was looking forward to it.
Thank you, Madam President, and best of luck in all of your endeavors. I know you're going to do great.
I appreciate that.
But before I forget, I need to thank the appropriate people. I need to thank our producer, Greg Hansberry, for being the best producer ever. And for our original music, I need to thank the biographer. And remember to subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to your podcasts, wherever, SoundCloud, iTunes,
Spotify,
all of them. But if you could rate and review us on SoundCloud, that would be really great. Check out our website at columbuscraftcocktailtour.com for all of our events. We do have several events coming up. And follow us on Instagram at, what's our Instagram?
C-Bus Craft Cocktail Tour.
Okay, and we're also on Facebook. And also be sure to check out Bubbles and Agave. Where can they reach you?
So I have a website.
Okay.
So it's bubblesandagave.com.
Okay.
And there's like a submission form through that. Or they can reach me at just Christina at bubblesandagave.com.
Okay, wonderful.
Got my own email and everything.
And then drink Middle West spirits.
Yeah, do that.
And if you see Christina on the street, ask her for directions.
And history.
All right. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.